See, but some of these lists are absurd, though, man. Like, there's no way Cooper Kupp should be on anybody's Mount Rushmore of wide receivers. Like, how is that even possible? I can even kind of push for the Antonio Brown thing because when he was at his peak, good God, he was amazing. Right. And this is a Raven fan talking, right? He was incredible. That's why I said, like, that 6-year stretch he had, you could put it up there with pretty much anybody. But, like, come on, Cooper Kupp, come on now. Like, what do we do? Like, that's why I'm like, some of these lists are insane. So, I don't think you said, do you know who your 4 top wide receivers are?
Nah, bro, I couldn't even do it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like...
Okay.
Like the NBA Mount Rushmore, because again, if I just start running through names, I'm an artist. Dang, yo, so many folks. You know what I mean? Like I gotta put Randy Moss up there. I gotta put. That's just for me personally. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying Randy Moss. All right, I'm gonna go Jerry Rice, and I'm like, man, it's like who else? It's so many really good wide receivers, and some might not even be some that people. Again, they pick them out apart. Like, how could you choose a Larry Fitzgerald or Anquan Bolden or Marcus Colston or like one of these folks? Just like, I remember a time when I was doing some fantasy leagues, and it made me pay a different kind of an attention to their statistical output through a season. You know what I mean? So it's just like some of these dudes had. I mean, just for their incredible ability to look at just the stats. I could just say, well, who has the most receiving yards through history, and like these folks deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore. It's like matches, etc. It's like, yeah, but not really. You know what I mean? Because I know what I saw. And then at the same time, you have your Lynn Swans and some of these folks that I didn't see play.
True.
I can look at highlights for, but I know they were incredible.
If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you. Get to some NFL. Let's get to some NFL. Let's see if this is a little more calm, even though the NFL is king. So, I don't know if y'all heard. Man, I wish Transformer was here for this too. He loves talking NFL. But anyway, I don't know if y'all heard that Jamar Chase, arguably second or third best receiver in the NFL, right? Depending on how you look at it. Maybe for some people he's your first. He's an absolute beast with the Bengals. But he was asked on a recent podcast appearance, who's his Mount Rushmore of wide receivers, right? His top 4 wide receivers of all time. And this one is crazy to me, right? All right, Brandon. All right, we getting there, bro. So Jamar Chase says his top 4 wide receivers of all time. And I'm gonna go down here. He says number 1, well, not necessarily in this order, but I'm just going. So he says Cooper Kupp, who we know is a Triple Crown winner. And, at his peak, he's been injured the last few years a lot, but at his peak, he was one of the best in the league, right? Really outstanding slot guy. He could play your X, he could play your Y, but really outstanding slot dude, extremely efficient route runner. And again, he earned the Triple Crown one year. So I think he's pretty much been living off of that. But if we actually do the numbers, it's crazy. Cooper Kupp only has 2 1,000-yard receiving seasons in his career, one of them being the Triple Crown season. So, okay. So he has Cooper Kupp. And I think as we go on through his list, you're going to see a lot of it has to do with his age, right? Now, this one, I think this could be legit. He says Antonio Brown is one of his Mount Rushmore receivers. I think Antonio Brown could have been that, but, obviously he went crazy and just started wilding. But also, he doesn't quite have the body of work, although he had one of the greatest 6-year stretches in the history of, being a wide receiver in the NFL. He had a 6-year stretch in which he had 1,499 receiving yards, 1,698 receiving yards, 1,834 receiving yards, 1,284 receiving yards, 1,533 receiving yards, and 1,297 receiving yards. So that 6-year stretch is right there with anybody in the history of the game. Now, we also need to be cognizant, again, much like basketball with the rules changes in the NFL, you can't hit receivers across the middle. You got the defenseless receiver rule, which was never a thing before. Obviously, quarterbacks are more protected than they've ever been before, so they can kind of stand in there and have more time to deliver, et cetera, et cetera. We have to be fair in how we judge these quarterback and receiver numbers, right? But Antonio Brown was an absolute beast. I'm not even going to front on the dude. But yeah, Steve. Yes, absolutely. Jamar Chase put Cooper Kupp on his Mount Rushmore of receivers. So that's Cooper Kupp, Antonio Brown. Then his and it's not all about stats, but at the same time, stats are a major part of it, right? Because what do I always say when I talk about greatness with players? I talk about stats, eye test, winning, and accolades. Those are my 4 categories. And your greatness for me is kind of an amalgam of all of those 4 things, and that goes across sports. And then finally, and I think he just said this because he was worried that if he didn't say this, he would get excoriated. But obviously, Jerry Rice, the guy who is widely regarded as the greatest wide receiver of all time, and his numbers are just too obscene for there to be any real argument. Like, he's ahead of everybody by so much, right? So Larry Fitzgerald is second all time, and Jerry Rice is more than 5,000 yards ahead of him receiving. And obviously, as I just mentioned, Jerry Rice played in a much tougher era for receivers and for quarterbacks, but he was that dude, right? So he's got Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp, and Antonio Brown. So I'm like, really, for me, there's only one guy on Jamar Chase's, top 4 that is definitively the guy, right? And I know Laker Nation loves these Jerry Rice highlights. Shout out Laker Nation. But it's interesting to me that when you have, a lot of these young players, and this is in multiple sports, that this is your job. You're one of the best at these jobs, and you have no idea who some of these people are. I was telling Q before we got on, I'll let you go in a second, Q, about Mitchell Robinson, the center for the Knicks. And when he was a rookie in 2019, I think Dream said something to him, and he said he had no idea who Hakeem Olajuwon was. And I'm like, you're an NBA center and you don't know who Hakeem Olajuwon is? Like, that was blasphemous to me. Not because I'm such a big fan of Dream, but because if this is your job, you should be looking at those all-time greats ahead of you. You should know who Kareem is. You should know who Dream is. You should know who Shaq is. You should know who D-Rob is, Pat Ewing, so on and so forth. Wilt Chamberlain. Like, for you to say you don't know who Dream is, like, that's absurd if you're an NBA center. But Q, I've been talking for a while, man. Give me some of your thoughts on Jamar Chase's list and what you see there and what you think.
Yeah, so I would say, like, the thing that we should probably be careful of, because this happens so often as talking points on podcasts, etc.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody drops a list, everybody wants to, this dude's an idiot. You don't know what he's talking about.
Right,
How dare you put this person? Like, it's all opinion based.
So yeah, it is.
His opinion. You know what I mean? Like, remember the kid Brandon Miller or whoever it was had Paul George years ago. You know what I mean? So we laughed at it and then we let it go. It's like, clearly this kid's delusional, you know what I mean? Or on what we think, you know what I mean? This kid has no clue what he's talking about. So it's a very interesting list. But man, when your scope of experience of watching the game or your knowledge of the game is very limited, then I expect nothing less. Like, it is what it is. Again, his list doesn't talk me out of the greats that I saw. And you know what I mean? I started talking about folks that I'm just gonna put on there through my own personal bias or of bias or what have you. I'm be like, man, I'm throwing Art Monk up there. You know what I'm saying? As a dude from Washington. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm talking Jerry Rice, I'm talking Art Monk. And folks do their own research. You know what I mean? If they don't understand, do it for yourself. Look at some numbers and count and all that stuff, and then it is what it is. But I can't act like a Marvin Harrison wasn't in the league for me personally. Act like, you know what I mean, a Reggie Wayne wasn't on the other side of the field from him. I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like a Hines Ward didn't exist. A Randy Moss didn't exist. Just receivers that did things differently, maybe slot, you know what I mean? Maybe some, you know what I mean, that were more deep threats. But, man, I've watched some incredible football players play in my 48 years on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, watching sports, man. So, Yeah, the lists are always the list. You know what I mean? I always want to kind of be careful not to beat up a person because of their list. I'm like, all right, that's
I mean, sure, indeed, but some of these lists are absurd, though, man. Like, there's no way Cooper Kupp should be on anybody's Mount Rushmore of wide receivers. Like, how is that even possible? Like, I can even kind of push for the Antonio Brown thing because when he was at his peak, good God, he was amazing. Right. And this is a Raven fan talking, right? He was incredible. That's why I said, like, that 6-year stretch he had, you could put it up there with pretty much anybody. But, like, come on, Cooper Kupp, come on now. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's why I'm like, some of these lists are insane. So I don't think you said, do you know who your 4 top wide receivers are?
Bro, I couldn't even do it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like the NBA Mount Rushmore. Because again, if I just start running through names, I'm like, dang, yo, so many folks. You know what I mean? Like, I got to put Randy Moss up there. I got to put, it's just for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Randy Moss, Art Monk. I'm going to go Jerry Rice. And I'm like, man, it's like, who else? It's so many really good wide receivers, and some might not even be some that people, again, they pick them out apart. Like, how could you choose a Larry Fiedler or Anquan Bolden or Marcus Colston or like one of these folks? Just like, I remember a time when I was doing some fantasy leagues, and it made me pay a different kind of an attention to their statistical output through a season. You know what I mean? So it's just like some of these dudes had, again, just for their incredible ability to look at just the stats. I could just say, well, who has the most receiving yards through history, and like these folks deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore. It's like catches, etc. It's like, but not really. You know what I mean? Because I know what I saw, and then at the same time, you have your Lynn Swans and some of these folks that I didn't see play.
True.
Go back and look at highlights for, but I know they were incredible. You know what I mean? It's impossible, bro. I can't even do it. It's too tough.
Okay. Wow, that's a throwback. Excuse me, Chief Sid Bubble, Bullet Bob Hayes. Wow. Yeah. Olympic gold medalist in the 100. And then was that 1968 Mexico City, I believe. And then he came and became a star in the NFL. Yeah. Bullet Bob Hayes. Okay, so I'll give my Mount Rushmore, my top 4 wide receivers ever. And for me, it was pretty easy. And I'll go Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison, Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. Like I think that's an easy one. And I think while everyone has their own opinion, I'm gonna say that's pretty much inarguable.
Give me again. One more time.
Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald,
Girls, my God,
Marvin Harrison.
Harrison. Yeah, I can't even fight you on that because again, those are 4. I think I mentioned all 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? Right. No doubt.
Those
dudes are incredible. And then if you just begin to stack another list against them, it's like, yo, you can't like I can't really fight you on it. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Well, the only thing I'll say, I think that no matter what the list is, obviously Jerry Rice is going to be Jerry
Rice is definitely on it.
Right, he's a starter.
But Marvin Harrison on it, like you said, as an offspring of a Marvin Harrison, for me, it would be a Larry Fitzgerald. You know what I'm saying? But but how do I not put a Randy Moss on there? You know what I mean? Because
if you don't put Randy Moss, then you put Terrell Owens, right? That would be the argument for that.
And that's what I was saying. So again,
if you don't put a Marvin Harrison, the argument for that is okay. No Marvin Harrison, Chris Carter. You know what I'm saying? So
then that's what I said. So you make that alternative list and you say, all right, well, give me Chris Carter, give me T.O. You know what I mean? Give me whoever else. It's like, damn, I can't even argue with that list either, bro.
Right.
The Rushmore joints be so disrespectful to a degree, but it's like, but I understand the point because there's a more presidents. But it's just like, bro, there's so many Incredibles. You know what I mean? They're like, it's hard, bro. It's so tough, man, because they're really gifted wide receivers. You know what I mean? Like over the years, man. And I'm fortunate that I got a chance to see a lot of them play in my lifetime.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
We saw the absolute best either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what happens when you're a little older now. You know, we getting up there a little bit. So definitely. No, Brandon, I don't think Art Monk retired to GOAT because I know you're biased. You're a DC guy. You're a Commanders guy. But he, as great as he was, if I'm recollecting when we were young, the guy everybody talked about before Jerry Rice definitively took it over was Steve Largent. That's the guy I remember hearing about when we were kids.
Talked about a lot.
Yeah, and that's no disrespect to Art Monk, but he wasn't considered the GOAT. It was Steve Largent.
Yes.
And then
there was no GOAT talk, but
that's true too.
Up in DC, you know what I mean? Like,
of course,
for us, his prowess was being celebrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah,
I was there.
And local. So it's like for us, even though we could have the respect and love for Jerry Rice and all that stuff, it's like, man, we got a chance to see Art Monk every week, bro. And to hear them talk about him and celebrate his records and to put them into context.
Yeah.
Not just his records, but what he was doing, weekly, etching himself into the history. Which is, again, man, a point. I know we're talking about football, but I'm saying that's, again, a point for me as to why I cannot be a hater of any player playing sports, because I've been doing this for so long that I've been able to appreciate greatness. But if even in the course of me watching your greatness, if I'm calling out some bullshit that you're doing, I don't mean I'm hating on you. I'm just saying.
Brandon, it's not about the stats, bro. That's the thing. It's not always about the stats. I do remember, I was there too, Brandon. I remember Art Monk breaking all the records, but the dude we heard about as the best wide receiver until Jerry Rice definitively took over was Steve Largent. I'm the same age as you. You keep saying go check the numbers, but all right. So anyway, Steve says the one thing makes me happy about this wide receiver debate, there isn't a single Raven that we can even mention. Listen here, Steelers fan, there is a Raven that we can mention. You know who it is? Steve Smith Sr., homeboy. Yeah, take that. Number 8 all time in receiving yards. Beat it, Steve.
Steve
and he got your name. Take that.
Steve Smith for sure.
Right.
Steve.
Take that.
Yep, that's crazy.
But yeah, so this was something I thought was a pretty cool little story, and give us a break from the basketball a little bit while we wait for Game 3 and let us talk some football, man. Damn, Edward, you couldn't even wait for me to say, open the phone lines up? Damn, bro.
Oh, I thought, my fault, Killer, my fault. I thought
you good, man.
Opened the lines up, bro, because, okay, so.
Steve is a Raven, Steve. But go ahead, Edward. What you got, man?
Hey, so y'all not Calvin and Ice on this topic, man. I love this topic right here, too.
Okay.
So, now, when it comes to Jamar Chase, I don't have a problem with this list. I mean, Cooper.
I do. He's on drugs. But go ahead.
Bruce, man, look, just because everybody doesn't agree with your list doesn't mean
it was the truth, though.
Everybody's list is different, bro. Everybody's list is different. Now, when it comes to Megatron was that guy, but I think he broke one record. I think it was a regular season record that Jerry Rice had. He broke that record.
The receiving yards record, yeah.
Yeah, he did that, but I mean, I give Megatron was that guy, you know what I'm saying? That he said AB. Hey, AB was that guy, but hey, CT is a hell of a he on CT.
Yeah, man. Yeah. AB was a monster. I can't front on that. And I did say that, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then now with Jerry Rice, I mean, hey, Jerry Rice is
irrefutable,
Rice.
Right?
Yeah, irrefutable. Yeah. But mine is this right here. Oh, excuse me. So I have Chris Carter. Chris Carter does not get his love.
Agreed.
He's number 4.
That's fine.
Terrell Owens is number 3.
Okay.
He was a beast.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice is number 2.
Who's number 2?
Jerry Rice.
Oh, Rice.
Jerry Rice is Jerry Rice number 2, and I'm putting AB at number 1.
Oh God, freaking Steelers fans. Jesus Christ.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for you to have Larry Fitzgerald over T.O., I mean,
I think there's an argument for it.
I mean, do you consider Larry Fitzgerald as the Tim Duncan of the NFL?
That's a great analogy. I like that. That's a great analogy. We can do that. Yeah.
Dang.
That works. That's a great analogy. That works. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Small media market, didn't really say a lot, just went out there and did the work. That's a great analogy, Edward. Best thing you said all night. Go ahead.
Yeah, better than those hot takes you and Ice was cooking.
We not. Thank you.
No, we're not doing that. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna go there. And then hold on, let me also say this.
Yes, sir.
Look, man, he is a Carolina. He is not a Raven. No, we're not gonna do that, bro.
Hey, I got a question.
He's known for Carolina, not for a Raven.
Look him up on. All right, okay, all right.
Nah, I looked him up, Bruce. He played in our division, bro, the AFC North, man. So come on, bro.
He's a Raven.
Like, come on.
He's a Raven.
Bro, he's a Carolina. Bro, he got all his accolades.
He's a Raven.
Carolina.
He got the Raven attitude. He played like a Raven. He's a Raven. Go! He's a Raven.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, like, I just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? These lists, man. Everybody's list is not going to be the same. Everybody has their right to their opinion. It's a fringe opinion or whatever, man. But yeah, man. And then DC guy, what was your? You said you didn't have one, did you?
No, I mean, I agree with Bruce's list for the most part. I threw Art Monk on mine as a fifth to just crowd up the mountain. But tough, man.
Hey, yo, man, I gotta watch YouTube for those guys. I'm sorry, I never heard of him.
Here we go. Wait, what?
I'm just keeping it real.
Hold on. Wait. Say that again.
Hey, yo, man, I just gotta watch some highlights.
You never heard of Art Monk?
I heard of the Swan guy that played for Seattle who had the record over Jerry Rice. I heard of him.
You mean Steve Largent?
Steve Largent, yeah, Steve Largent. I'm sorry, guy. I was born in '86. I mean, what y'all want me to do?
You really starting to worry me, Edward.
Damn, '86. Yeah. You gotta look up some football.
Art Monk was a problem, an absolute problem.
The good news is NFL did a great job of preserving some of that old footage.
Yes.
Looks really good.
Well, I remember that. Now, did y'all have a problem with them leaving out Terrell Owens?
No, but I'm not mad at anybody who has Terrell Owens in there.
They left out. I think I know what DC is talking about because I know they did a top for ever wide receivers and they left Terrell Owens out of it, but they put Larry Fitzgerald in there over him. It's because he was quiet, man. He didn't even have no issues off the field. None of that.
Squeaky clean joke.
Then Randy Moss had off the field issues, but hey, he was on. He was just likable. That's all that was.
Well, I mean, true indeed, but they played the same amount of time roughly, and I think Larry Fitzgerald got about 1,500 more receiving yards. It's a preference thing.
Bruce, but you just said to the guy that's in the chat, we're not talking about numbers though.
The numbers, though.
No. Well, remember what I said. Numbers is part of my evaluation. It's just not all of my evaluation. You got to listen to me all the way, man. What did I say? My evaluation is made up of 4 things, right? Statistics, winning, awards, eye test. You have to have all of those things, right? The amalgam of those things is my evaluation. You got to listen to me, Edward.
Yeah, LeBron don't have none of that, but anyway.
Oh my God, I ain't say that. What is it with you and yo?
No. Hey, I let it go. We talk about football.
Please do.
But, okay, but yeah. So, but I'm like, man, come on. T.O. played with a broken. Was it a broken leg or
leg? Played with a broken leg in the Super Bowl.
Crazy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But man, I gotta put him over Larry Fitzgerald, and I'll put him over Cooper Kupp, but. I think Jamar Chase, man, it's just the Cooper Kupp part that I was like, wow, you know.
It's wild. That's diabolical, Cooper Kupp.
I mean, that's just youth, man. Youth is wasted on the young. That's what they say. That's the expression.
Speaking of youth, man, before we let the caller go, I'm going to chime in or jump in with Xavier Hernandez in the chat. He said, never seen him play. But you can't tell me some motherfucker named Art Monk was routing people up. Madden character ass name. Listen, man.
His name was Arthur Monk. That's why they call him Art. But
do yourself a favor, Xavier. Allow these spaces, man, to be that. You know what I mean? I know it was Xavier earlier today in the chat too. Like, oh, hey, it's corny, blah blah. Like, bro, these grades ain't painted on, bro. I earned this wisdom.
Facts.
Things. Hey, yo, the salt and pepper is heavy. The salt and pepper is really heavy on that panel. Shout out to my guy Sid Bubble too.
Hey, yo, Edward, you know what my uncle used to tell me when I called him old? He used to tell me, I'm not the only one Father Time is coming for. So I'm gonna say that to you now.
Lucky. If you lucky.
No, I'm not hating on the salt and pepper, B. I'm not hating on that, bro. I mean, hey, it's a lot of it on the panel.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
It's a lot of wisdom too. Hold that.
Yeah, a lot of wisdom. I'm sure it is some wisdom and stress with it as well.
Yes.
But I'm gonna let y'all go, man. I'm gonna let somebody else call in. And
all right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the call.
All right, DC.
Blessings, bro.
Hey, yo, Brandon, call back, man. I see you trying to get in, man. He going come with his Commanders love. Here we go. Here we go with the Commanders and the Art Monk. Let's go. What up, Brandon? What you got,
damn
man?
Right.
I know it.
You damn right at it, Clovis. First of all, let me go. I'm gonna go and be a man. I was wrong. He did break Steve Larder's record. What it was he broke Steve Larder's record of like 98, and he was the first receiver to go for 100 receptions in one hit. That's what Art Monk did.
Okay.
As far as receiving yards, he's still only 1,000 less than Steve Larger. I mean, less than Steve Larger. But at that time, he had the most receptions, and I believe it was most.
I remember it was like 800 and something. I remember.
Right, exactly. And so, with that said, multiple 1,000-yard seasons, multiple Super Bowls, and like Larry Fitzgerald, he actually was quiet. He wasn't one of them rah-rah receivers.
Correct.
I think that's why a lot of people don't give him the credit. So for me, I'm going to go with Jerry Rice, Art Monk, Randy Moss, and you're not going to go with my man Peyton's favorite target, Barbara Harris. But you can't go wrong no other way about it. As far as receiver, didn't Michael Jackson play for y'all?
Who?
Michael Jackson? That's the best receiver in Ravens history, bro. And that's a shame.
No, Anquan Bolden is the best receiver in Raven history. We don't win that 2013 chip without him. He got busy.
That's right. I forgot all about that. Him and Torrey.
Torrey Smith. Yeah.
That just shows y'all need to get your man of receivers.
Here we go.
No, you do. I don't know. Hey, you know you do.
Man, it'd be all right.
He got all the other tools, but you need a receiver, a real receiver.
But we could say that, but he's led the league in passing touchdowns before and passing yards now.
Imagine what he does if you actually get him a receiver.
Okay.
He might win the chip.
Man,
all he got to do is just elevate his. Anyway, we're not gonna. That's a whole different topic.
Get a real receiver, bet you win the chip within 2 years.
Okay.
But anyway, the point being is, and it's just a point I wanted to make as far as like Jamar Chase. And this is not a shot at anybody, but it seems like today's younger generation of fans, if they haven't witnessed it, it's like they don't respect it or it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to be a student of the game anymore.
Nope.
You know, and that's why when I first saw Chase's list, I was like, is this dude on fentanyl, meth, or what? Is he just retarded?
He's on something.
Is he just stupid? Because, like, bro, like, don't get it twisted. The other guys he named were good guys.
Right.
But, like, off the top of my head, I was like, I can name 4 or 5 guys better than that.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
And that's just like, I'm sorry, I got to do it, Bruce, before I go. That guy in your chat room, Xavier Hernandez, talking about Bird wouldn't have been able to hold his own against LeBron.
Oh, no, please.
That's
please.
a topic for another day.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just going to say that's a topic for another day. That was disrespectful.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah. Let's get back to boxing. Look.
All right, brother. I appreciate the call, fam.
We're done, bro.
All right. Somebody else was trying to get through it. Was that Chief?
Bruce, apparently you need to invite Gen Z on the panel too, bro, for balance. You know what I'm saying? Xavier.
Oh, is that what? That's what we got to do?
Yeah, Xavier Hernandez said.
Okay, maybe we'll need to do that one of these days. Steve, what's going on, man?
What up, Bruce? What up, Q?
What up, brother?
Not much, man. Shout out, Q. I like how you handled that call from our boy, the honey pouring.
We're not doing that. We're talking football, man. We're talking football. Let's keep it there.
I had to give him a little shout out.
All right, Steve. Okay.
I'm done.
All right, thank you.
Behave.
Thank you. Wide receivers.
But, and yes, Q, we can beat up young people for saying stupid shit. You're being too nice.
Welcome.
You're being too nice.
Wide receivers, Steve. Wide receivers.
Fucking kids, Steve. Always barbecue. You know what
Cooper Kupp. That's some dumb shit. Come on. Cooper Kupp.
Agreed.
That's ridiculous. That's blasphemy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yes.
So, yeah, correct. We can bully. We need to bring bullying back. We need to make bullying a thing again. We need to bully young people when they say dumb shit and make them feel dumb. because that's the only way to correct such stupid behavior when you publicly say something so stupid. Cooper Kupp is crazy. That's crazy work.
It is crazy work.
Not the last thing, because I want to give my Mount Rushmore. There is no way that you can sit here, Bruce, and say Steve Smith is a Raven. This is crazy.
You know what's funny? I'm sitting here, in all seriousness, looking at the NFL receiving yards career leaders, right? On Pro Football Reference, and it has their pictures across the top, and it has Steve Smith in a Ravens jersey. But I'm just saying. Anyway.
Maybe that's probably because that was the most recent team he played for. Are you going to call Anquan Bolden a Raven too?
Yep, sure am.
Oh God, Bruce, come on!
Got his chip with us.
That is the most cheap way to make a claim.
Anyway, sure am.
I don't have Twizzler here to disagree with, but I'm sure if he gave his Mount Rushmore, if he's listening, just know I disagree with your Mount Rushmore receivers, Twizzler, and mine is the correct one, which is obviously Jerry Rice is 1.
Yes.
Randy Moss is 2. Theo is 3.
No.
And Calvin is 4.
No.
It has to be.
It's Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, Marvin Harrison Sr.
Now, I have nothing against Larry or Marvin. Okay. I'm just saying, pound for pound, the most dominant guys that ever lined up, it's the 4 I named.
Steve, you have giant.
Larry was great. But we're talking could run every single route and dominate in every possible way on a route tree. It's Rice, Moss, Theo, and Calvin. There's nothing you could do to stop those guys.
I mean, was there anything you could do to stop Marvin Harrison Sr.?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't recollect seeing that, but okay.
If Peyton threw to Reggie Wayne, that would stop him.
Really?
I'm just saying. I had to come up with something.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Okay. All right.
I'll be honest. Reggie was great.
He was.
This is what I would say. The 2 undisputed that I don't think you can argue. Is Rice and Moss. After those 2, then I do agree. Like there becomes a debate. I would grant the longevity or lack thereof of Calvin would go against my argument for Calvin. But the way you would argue for AD is the way you would argue for Calvin. It's like, it wasn't a 10, 12 year career, but like for a 5, 6 year stretch, it's like you really can't name anybody that was doing that.
So, and I agree. And I think you're 100% right on that. And I'll say to the other point, you mentioned Marvin Harrison Sr. I wouldn't be mad. And I think Q said this. If you took out Marvin Harrison Sr. and put in Chris Carter, that's very fair. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this is a wonderful argument, this wide receiver thing. So
two guys from that era that don't get the proper respect. One is Chris Carter and the other is Tim Brown. And I'm not saying that as a Notre Dame fan. Tim Brown was an elite. I mean, he was like top 3 in the records for a long time until this new wave of the passing game came about.
True.
But Tim Brown and Chris Carter were kind of known as 2 and 3 behind Rice.
That's right.
Once we got into the 90s.
You know who we didn't even bring up?
Was a little bit before them, and Largent, obviously. But that was like the top 3 when I remember growing up watching heavy in the 90s. It was always Rice, Carter, Tim Brown.
You know who we didn't even bring up, Steve, in fairness? Isaac Bruce.
Or Holt.
Right. There's a lot of and that's the thing. There's a
lot of guys.
Yeah, this is a wonderful discussion to have. That's why,
it's not like the running back one where it's like there's kind of a concrete top 5, 10 guys that you can steal. I don't know if it's as diverse with running back, but with receiver, once you get past like 3 or 4, it's like, man, there's a lot of guys. You really
start having a discussion.
It comes down to preference.
Absolutely.
Which one day we will have this running back argument, and I will prove to you and justify LaDainian Tomlinson being a top 5 all-time back.
Adrian Peterson.
But that's another one there's nothing against AP. Nothing against AP.
It's my preference,
LaDainian
Steve. I love AP, man. He's an animal. But different discussion.
I can't disagree with that. He was a bulldozing style, but he was a one-dimensional type guy, which there's nothing wrong with that. He was great.
I'm okay with that.
He's basically LeBron James of running back. He's like, this is what you get. This is all it is. He's really great at it.
That's
but there's no diversity to his bag. LP had a bag, bro. And LP was more productive in less years.
He had lateral quickness and everything. Special.
Was he a better running back, though? He was a more complete running back. Was he a better runner? You see what I'm saying?
The pure rushing numbers would definitely conclude that LaDainian was a better running back.
Well,
it took AP like an extra 4 or 5 years going to other teams as like 1-year deal to be where he is in the top. Tomlinson played 10 years?
11.
He's like 11, and he was top. He might be like top 6 or 7 now. He might be like 7th all time.
Right.
But the touchdown number. Listen, get the ball in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
I would even argue Tomlinson was a better goal line back than Peterson.
All right, we'll have this discussion another time. Let's hold off on that.
I found a way to change the subject.
You're good at that.
That's what I do.
Yes,
that's what I do. I didn't wait for the grand finale. I brought it early tonight.
Yes, you did.
But anyway, I'll let you guys keep it rolling.
No doubt, man. Appreciate the call, Steve.
Hey, shout out to both. Blessings both, man. Blessings to you both.
Thank you, brother. Same to you, man. Same to you.
Thank you.
All right.